There's a subgenre to horror games that you might think is considered survival horror, but that term is so misused. Did you like the overdramatic intro? That was just the hook. The rest of the video is shit. Almost all horror games are technically survival horror, because almost all games have some sort of death mechanic where you have to survive.
That shit look like it belongs in Fortnite.
Now, okay, level-headed people are generally on the same page as to what a survival horror is, but the actual definition of it is vague. Resource management, slow movement, intentionally clunky combat, these are staples in the genre. But the problem is, the genre can exist without them. An FPS or a platformer has strict guidelines. Survival horror doesn't. Survival horror is different from typical game genres in that it is not defined strictly by specific mechanics, but subject matter, tone, pacing, and design philosophy. Okay, that quote was from IGN, but just give me a break, alright, it's true. The genre itself is barely defined, and that's why you can make the case for Dark Souls as a survival horror. And it's also why Until Dawn can label itself a survival horror, despite being a story game with like 2 points at which death is even a possibility. Look, we either need to specify how much survival is needed to call something a survival horror, or split survival horror into a bunch of subgenres. Because this tag on Steam, this is so insanely unhelpful. It's pretty frustrating seeing a game like Amnesia be lumped in with a game like Dead Space as survival horror. I love survival horror, but I do not love this type of survival horror.
Man, fuck this shit.
The subject of this video is about a specific subgenre, one that pretends to be survival horror, but in reality, if you were to give it to a real survival horror fan, they'd be, I don't know, insert a joke here. A subgenre that strips away everything that is appealing about survival horror. A subgenre that replaces horror. Jesus Christ, I really just kept going, huh? I'm talking about stealth horror, a term that's so underused, even Google doesn't know what the hell it is. Stealth horror is a subgenre that's been around for a while. It's basically survival horror, but take away all the resource management, all the decision making. Your option is now to run, with a side option of hide. Outlast, Amnesia, Soma, Alien Isolation. This genre has never been more popular. I'm gonna be honest, if we're talking about a game, this style of horror ruins the fun. It ruins the horror. It makes gameplay a chore. Okay, just let me set my timer and... gameplay.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick.
Okay, that was really fun, engaging, and scary gameplay. Whew, I'm spooked. Do you do chores? I bet you don't, you stinky. Now, I'm not even saying a horror game needs gameplay. I think an amazing horror game can just be a walking simulator. Yeah, I'm probably one of 47 people globally that actually enjoys walking sims. PT is a great example. It is purely a walking sim. Atmosphere and story form the appeal of this game. So what's my problem? I complain that stealth horrors strip away the mechanical satisfaction from a game, but I'm also saying that a game with no mechanics can be just as good. The problem is this middle ground. Right here. This perfect storm of bad gameplay that has just become ridiculously popular. But I can explain. I've got a great example. Have you ever played Soma? Hello?
Hey, man. Could you bring me,
Bring you what?
bring me. No.
What do I need to bring you? Soma is another stealth horror classified as a survival horror.
Incorrect.
Set in a research facility at the bottom of the ocean, you're trapped. It's spooky, and there's an AI called the WoW.
The WoW is an artificial intelligence called the WoW.
Yeah, the warden unit, the WoW.
What's the WoW you're hooking up to?
Great name. It's creating some scary monsters that chase you around the dark corridors. Now, I have no intention of spoiling anything. The story here is unbelievably good and is the only reason anybody played for longer than 30 minutes. Soma is a weird example of a dev team where the writers were just popping off, creating the most fascinating setting with the most interesting lore, while the game designers were huddled up in the corner, coming up with a way to make sure that nobody would actually stick around to enjoy that story. See, Soma is a great example of environmental storytelling. It'll put you in a room with a computer terminal, posters on the wall, objects littered all over the ground that give you glimpses of what might have happened here. But instead of letting you explore and soak up the atmosphere they created, they opt for a different approach. Throw in a monster that reacts to every sound you make. Literally, it reacts to the sound of your torch turning on. Did it really just hear me? Bro, fuck off! Oh, you want to get a better look at that thing over there? It got so bad that if I wanted to read what's on a terminal, I had to pause my game and read through the pause screen. Because if I sat there actually reading the lore of the area, I might just get randomly killed and have to replay the level from the beginning. It stripped away all the tension. The first time you enter an area, oh cool, this is creepy. The second time, okay yeah, this is cool, but I've seen it already. The third time, I don't want to be here anymore. Can I just get to the next level? Can I just progress with the story? The answer is no. Wait behind this desk for 3 minutes while the monster paces in and out of the room 5 times. Wait for it to leave so I can actually enjoy the things that immersed me in the first place.
Jesus Christ! What the hell?
Now there's 2 things that could have fixed this game. The Silent Hill approach, where I'm able to kill the monsters blocking my path, using up my precious ammo with no idea what may come later, putting me in a tough situation where I have to, manage my resources, clearing the room, and exploring the environment. The thing I'm here to do. Or the PT approach. Nothing is actually stopping me from exploring, but the atmosphere is suffocating me, making me question whether I should turn the corner or just quit before I ruin my last pair of pants. I own 2 pairs of pants. Adding this goddamn stealth mechanic to Soma makes the experience feel so staggered, like a great movie that has to buffer every couple of minutes. Why can't I just watch the movie? Well, guess what? Okay? Guess what? Soma does have a just watch the movie option. Not only do I wish I had chosen that when I first played, but this is so stupid. What does the addition of this mode mean? Is it there for people who get too scared? Are we de-scarifying horror games? Or Is it there as a play the game without getting frustrated button? Are they acknowledging that this part of the game is actually irrelevant to the core experience of Soma? I can't see a developer adding an option to make their game less fun. So on some level, this must be the developers acknowledging that their only game mechanic isn't core to the Soma experience. This is what the game looks like on safe mode. He's just screaming and running away. I kind of feel bad for him. This is so goofy. This option is so goofy. I focused on Soma so much because I think it's the most extreme example of the stealth horror genre just shitting everywhere. Oh my god, there's so much shit everywhere.
Oh my god.
There's so much shit. But guess what? Outlast suffers from this exact same thing. And everybody seems to love that game. Now, Outlast is scary. Being defenseless actually adds to the tension that first time around too. But it does not take long for these chase sequences to become a chore, especially if you're there for the atmosphere. Or if you just don't know where to go, and this asshole isn't actually giving you time to look. You can end up in these sequences where all you're doing is running around in a loop, listening to that fucking for 10 minutes. This article, 15 best horror games where you are defenseless, cites Outlast 2 as their top pick. The reasoning being, imagine running from extremist enemies without knowing where you're going, without weapons or means to defend yourself. You may find yourself having YouTube walkthroughs ready to watch as you move through this game. That's your reasoning? That's your reasoning for why it's so good. The fact that I need to watch a walkthrough? What the fuck are you talking about, thegamer.com? What about Amnesia? Same thing. Hello Neighbor. Same thing. Clock Tower. Same thing. Alien Isolation. Not the same thing? Oh man, I love Dwayne Johnson. Despite sharing the stealth horror formula, I believe Alien Isolation finds a really good way to not make the gameplay a chore. Many times you will encounter these robots. They are bullet sponges, so fighting them is really a last resort. These bots are awesome because not only are they scary, but they're not always an enemy. Sometimes they're even helpful.
How can I help you?
If I need your body, I'll fucking...
There's the initial contact of, is this a friend or op? Already unsettling, but this game also has the fact that people, other humans, often can't be trusted either. If you get into a shootout with other survivors, you're gonna attract the alien. And this thing will straight up kill everything in the room. Everything. It's all dead. You can use it to your advantage, but it's super risky. And when it comes to the alien itself, yeah, this gameplay can be tedious. But if you have a flamethrower, you're actually capable of fending it off. There's distractions too. Items you can craft to loosely strategize for the next time you run in to the alien. There are so many layers to the gameplay here. Layers to the tension. Despite the constant threat of an unkillable enemy appearing at any time, it is not a movie with buffers. It is a game where every decision needs to be carefully considered, especially on the higher difficulties. It takes the core decision making that is integral. Integral? It takes the core decision making that's integral to survival horror and adequately fits it into a stealth horror. In these games, I don't have a choice. There is an unkillable enemy in the room, or there isn't. You know when there is, and there is no circumventing it. Don't mess up, because you'll get insta-killed, and that tension atmosphere that the game built up, it's never the same once you've respawned. In this game, I have some level of control. This unstoppable entity will fuck my shit up if it can, but I don't know when it'll attack. I don't know if it's in the same part of the ship as me. I have to maneuver the levels, knowing the risk, assessing how much noise each action will make, and carefully looking around the environment. Actually, the environment. One of my favorite aspects of isolation are these small pools of drool that leak from the vents above. It's not very easy to see, but when you see it, it means the alien is above that grate, waiting for somebody to step over it. Assessing the area as you explore is key to surviving in this game. It's tense, it's atmospheric, it is stealth horror that adds to the experience rather than taking away from it. I'm not just playing red light, green light, okay? I'm not in fucking Squid Games.
Oh my god, I knew that was you. Hong Sang-yong. Hong Sang-yong, Squid Game. From the Squid Game. You was in the Squid Game. Hong Sang-yong. From the Squid Game.
Make a noise, run away and hide. And set my stopwatch. Okay, I can move again, make a noise. Okay, I gotta hide. How many more minutes? How many more minutes am I waiting? Is this the gameplay? Is this all the gameplay? Do you play a competitive multiplayer game? Maybe you're familiar with this term. There's no counterplay. There's no option. This subgenre, stealth horror, it's just not good on its own. It's lazy from a design perspective because you don't really have to design a level. You don't have to balance much besides the rate at which enemies run. You're not managing your resources because you have none. You aren't really making decisions besides when is it safe to start moving again. And my god, take a look at itch.io. How easy is it to make a first-person game where you run away from a monster that you can't kill? Honestly, I'm happy to leave this era of stealth horrors behind as a relic of the 2010s. Give me good story. Give me tense atmosphere. Give me the occasional invulnerable enemy. Give me calm. I don't care. Whatever, man. Don't buffer my game. Stealth is fine as a core mechanic. Just make it consequential. Give me some push and pull with the mechanics. I want to have to use my brain. I don't want to have to wait around unless I made a bad call. Or just give me Silent Hill 3. Holy fuck, that game is amazing.